Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Midday Live on TV3 with me, Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Coming up within the next 1 hour. Minister for Lands and Natural Resources calls the bluff of small-scale miners and warns them of dire consequences if they return to their concessions. The founder of Holy Trinity Spa and Health Center, Dr. Felix Anya, named as the new chief executive of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And on the international front, French President Macron in Mali on his first visit to Africa. Thank you very much for staying with TV3. This is Midday Live, and you can get interactive with us. Let us know what your thoughts are on our stories, and we'll gladly read it to the rest of the world. And we start from development about the Galamsey story that never seems to go away. Now, the minister in charge of land and natural resources, John Peter Amewu, has warned of dire consequences if small-scale miners return to their mining concessions. The minister says the year-long ban on small-scale mining will have military interventions. He actually was reacting to a 3-day ultimatum given by the small-scale miners to government to rescind its decision. John Peter Amewu spoke exclusively to TV3's Catherine Frimpoma.
We are with the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, who is in the region for a working visit to illegal mining sites in the region. But as there have been reports earlier today that the National Small-Scale Miners Association have given the government a 3-day ultimatum to return to their pits or hit the street. I have with me the Sector Minister, John Peter Amewu, to address this issue. Good evening, Honorable, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
Now, I have seen your itinerary, and you didn't have these people in mind, but this is what they are saying: 3 days ultimatum, allow them access back into their pits, or they hit the streets. Are you going to engage them?
Well, it's rather unfortunate. This our good friend have on several occasions had discussion with me, and I met them a number of times in my office. We had some stakeholder engagement about 2 times, one with the media, one with my own outfit when we were coming out with the design of the MMIP. The last discussion I had with them in the office, including the secretary of the association, and it was clear from that understanding that as a government, we are not against mining, we are not anti-mining government, but we are against the methodology of mining that will not make the environment, very clean and sound. We are against the methodology of mining that contribute to their own health issues. We are against the methodology of mining that, of course, is not economically feasible. And this is what we made them to understand. It was based on those understanding that I made it very clear, and we all came to understanding that we have temporarily put a moratorium on issuance of new licenses. That's number 1. And number 2, that we have suspended or banned all small-scale mining in the country for a period of 6 months. And this has been discussed thoroughly, and we all agreed upon. And so the current statement that they have, or the statement, their press conference today, is quite unfortunate. I'm in the region. I'm prepared, as they always engage with me, I'm prepared to engage with them. All that we're doing now, in the long run, is going to benefit them because we want to clean the environment, clean the mining site, and make mining more acceptable. And so that as an economy, we should be prepared to absorb this aspect of the hidden economy into our mainstream line. This is exactly what we are doing.
Now, the miners are hell-bent on returning to the pits. What plans are in place to resist their defiance?
That is unacceptable. I mean, they cannot return to the pit. They cannot do that. I mean, I must be very frank with you.
They issued a statement that they have given you 3 days. They return to the pits or hit the streets.
Well, that's the statement they've issued. And I'm in the region, I'm going to engage them, but they cannot do that. If they do that, that will be some form of a militant approach, you know, and that will be, I don't know how to describe it, but it will simply mean that they are not taking the laws of this country, you know, seriously. And if they do that, that again, you know, means that they are falling short of the discussions we have had earlier on. So I disagree with them. As a small-scale mining association, or as a small scale, having the license alone doesn't make you a legitimate or a legal miner. Not at all. It's not an issue of the license. What is happening in Ghana has nothing to do with the regulatory framework. Not at all. If you are having a small-scale license to mine, and there's an authorization from the minister to mine, and you are mining very close to the river bodies, you are mining in the forest, you are mining in the rivers, you are using chemicals, mercuries, cyanides that are not acceptable to the environment, you are mining without reclamation. All these are lumped together and described as illicit mining. So Galamsey, it's not only those who do not have license but are mining. I mean, surprisingly, people may not have the license, but their methodology of mining will conform to environmental norms that we all want. But those guys are also classified again as illicit miners. So if you have a license, that doesn't make you a legitimate miner, not at all.
Okay. So we are looking at plans to resist them or make sure that they do not return, because already some mining sites are reportedly still working even after your ultimatum. And so we want to look at the plans that the ministry is putting in place to ensure that if indeed they can back on what they are threatening, then what happens?
I keep on saying that there's going to be a deployment of, the law enforcement agencies, the police, the army, the Air Force, you know, for a sustainable period. I mean, not less than 1 year. And that is going to come shortly. And so if anybody dare to return to the site, and for which very expensive equipment, you know, will be confiscated, that will be very unfortunate. And that is why I have taken my time, explain issues to them, give them timeline to cease operation. I have given another timeline, 30 days, which is coming close to an end, to make sure that they evacuate their equipment from the site. All these timelines and indication is to make sure that when we deploy the forces, I mean, there will not be any justifications for people's equipment to be seized. So I don't think that they will go back to the site. If they do that at their own risk. So running up the association, I'm going to engage them. I'm in Kumasi. I'm going to be in Ashanti region for the coming 3 days, and I will have a time to re-engage them again, so that together we'll build a Ghana that is more acceptable and a Ghana that everybody will want to do mining. Mining is going to continue to be done in this country so long as the MPP regime is in place. We are going to improve on them small-scale mining, and they will mine and everybody will enjoy it. We are not anti-mining. We want to mine in an environmental, sustainable manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that was John Peter Amewu.
You heard John Peter Amewu, Minister in charge of Land and Natural Resources, and he was very categorical in stating what the government's position is about mining in general. We've been joined on the line by Frank Osei. He's the president of the Small Scale Miners Association here in Ghana. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your time. Hello, Mr. Osei.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I believe you have heard what the minister said, that it is not that they are against your activity. They just want to sanitize the system before you are allowed back into your pits. What is your position on this?
Thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to your viewers. I will first make a reference to the Holy Book, and I quote John chapter 8, verse 7. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast the stone at her. There was a woman who was accused of adultery, and that is what our Lord Jesus said. Again, you see, normally when people are in their comfort zone, they don't really, care what they do or say to their fellow Ghanaians. More or less, There's a good saying that says, listening is the key to knowledge. Knowledge is the key to change. All we are saying, if the minister surely he's not against small-scale mining, it shouldn't take him forever. The solution shouldn't be a suspension for 6 months, because the suspension for 6 months, it has a lot of effect. It is going to affect the sector. That is all we are asking him. You see, let me give you a picture. You see, when he keep on holding on to the suspension, it is going to create unemployment. You agree with me? Again, there's going to be a lot of social, antisocial vices. The young guys that are not working will have ample time in their hands to come out and do all kinds of unnecessary
But Mr.
stuff.
Say, wouldn't you agree that the activities of the illegal miners is also affecting your activity, for which reason there needs to be the cleaning up of the whole mining activity in the country?
That is why we have emergency. We agree with him. We, the small-scale miners, we have also demonstrated that we agree with the government and we want to cooperate with the government. That is why we have formed an illegal mining task force. As I speak with you now, our task force is in Konongo. They've gone to one of the rivers and they've arrested some guys there at the Konongo police station. You can double check right now. We are also doing everything on our part to make sure that the government achieves what he is up to. But the thing is, the suspension. You see, if you don't earn an income, whatever you have in your pocket is what you're going to spend. As I speak with you now, one of the excavator companies have went to one of my friend's house to pick his excavator because he hasn't finished paying the excavator. We see we are being hit by a lot of interest on our the loans that
Mr. Say, it clearly also shows that you also have some good intentions for the country and for your business as well.
Of course, yes.
But
the minister is aware.
But how are you then?
We have formed all kinds of anti-illegal mining task force. Dunkwao is doing it. Ashanti is doing it. Eastern is doing it. We want to cooperate.
But how are you collaborating with the state? Are you working in isolation, or you are working in some form of collaboration with the state to achieve the same results?
Of course, we are working with the security agencies. Anytime we go to a district, we make sure we announce our presence to the police commander at the district that we are anti-illegal mining task force. We are helping the government, and we want to demonstrate to the government that we small-scale miners, we are not the ones destroying the water bodies. They are called dredgers. They are sitting on the river bodies 24/7. When it comes to degrading of the land, yes, we have a problem with that. And matter of fact, that one, we have come to a table. We have put in a lot of petition to His Excellency Asiedu-Dartey that we should allow us the tenants, chief. The problem at hand, the solution doesn't tell them to ask us to stop. Because,
okay, Mr. Say,
yes.
For what the minister has said, and that's my final question, which is that he says just give them time to sanitize the system, then you can go back into your pit. Can you do that at least you change your 3-day ultimatum?
With all due respect, it's been like 3 months now. Okay, it's been like 3 months now, and this suspension is causing a lot of frustration in our sector.
Okay.
It is giving us a lot of headaches. So all we are saying is, yes, they can fix the problem, but the suspension is not the answer. That is all we're saying.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Frank Osei. He is the president of the Small Scale Miners Association of Ghana. And the brouhaha between them and the state, as in the minister, is currently still ongoing. Meanwhile, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is in Guinea and has been speaking about Galamsey. What he has said, we'll bring it to you shortly. Stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with TV3. This is still Midday Live, and we stay with the issue of Galamsey. We just brought you that interview with the small-scale miners. They are saying they will not, they're actually giving government a 3-day ultimatum, or they will advise themselves. Government says that they should not do any such thing that will, bring a confrontation between them and the state. The President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is in the Republic of Guinea and has also been speaking on the issue of Galamsey and its impact on the environment. And this is what he had been saying.
President Akufo-Addo was answering questions from the Ghanaian community in Guinea on policies government has put in place to improve living conditions of Ghanaians. On revamping of VALCO, President Akufo-Addo said plans are in place to make the aluminium company more vibrant.
If we're going to have an aluminum industry, and aluminum is the metal of the future, we need an integrated aluminum industry in Ghana, right from the mining of the bauxite through alumina and refining alumina into the final aluminum. My hope is that by the end of this next term of Parliament, a bill is coming through the Parliament establishing an integrated aluminum development authority.
The president also spoke about the fight against illegal mining. President Akufo-Addo is on a tour of some ECOWAS countries.
What we cannot have done is for the mining to compromise our future environment. 60%, we're told, of the water bodies in Ghana today threatened by mining activities. But that's unacceptable. That is completely unacceptable. The land across our country, one of the advantages of campaigning is that you get to see Ghana. And it was this last campaign, the exposure that I had to what was actually going on the field, that hardened my decision that if God willing I was to win the election, I was going to make the fight against galamsey one of my priorities. And we have done it.
Right, you never go wrong with a Jama competition and a nice Jama out there in another country. All right, so we turn our attention from issues of galamsey now, and President of the Ghana Agro Input Dealers Association, Bernard Kwesi Jumo, is making claims that agrochemicals are in short supply in the country. He said the situation is affecting the fight against armyworm invasion in some parts of the country. William Evans Inkum earlier spoke to him and has this report.
That there is an armyworm, and then the product that we are using, we are not getting as we're supposed to see, because a lot of them has been shot. But what we know, what we knew, that the product, the importers, they are not importing the product at the moment, because that was last 2 months ago. We had a policy from the revenue collectors that they have imposed duty on our product, that we should pay duty and then come for refund. And then we don't have problem on that, but the time that we are going to get the money is the problem for 1 month. And some products, the duty is about 200,000, which is about 2 billion. That is one container of a product. So it will be difficult for us to import more products, because we don't have that money in our pocket to go and do the duty.
Okay, so my understanding is that early on you were not paying any import duties on the products that you import from abroad. Now you are being asked to pay duties, and that will affect the availability of these chemicals needed for the agri sector, for that matter, fighting of the armyworms.
Yeah, we were not paying, but now that they have imposed the policy, and we don't have anything to do than to put a petition to the minister, and we have done that. We have petitioned the minister for the exemption, but we haven't received any reply yet. We are waiting. They said they are working on it, but because of that, it has affected us on some of the insecticides that we need to fight against the armyworm.
Is the government relying on your supply of insecticide to maybe for onward distribution or for the fight against these armyworms? Are they taking the supply from you?
Yeah, the government is taking supply from us, because government does not import any insecticides. Our importation, we don't normally go and buy the product. We go for credit. So if you are saying I should pay duty and go for refund, fine, it's the same. But the problem is, if you are paying duty, where am I going to get the money to pay for the duty? I don't have money. So if the country needs about 10 containers, definitely I will import about 3 containers. So shortage you can, because maybe I cannot pay for the 10 containers. Maybe I can pay for 3, and then I cannot leave the 7 for demurrage. So I have to bring what I can pay. Yeah.
Right. So we have been speaking to Mr. Bernard Akwasi Jumo. He is the president of Ghana Agro Input Dealers Association. From Kumasi and for TV3 News, I'm William Evans Inkum.
And we shift to other stories having to do with health. And the owner of the Holy Trinity Medical Center, Dr. Felix Anya, has been appointed as the Chief Executive Officer of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Dr. Anya, who also owns the Holy Trinity Spa and Health Farm, is expected to officially begin duties from the 1st of June 2017. Dr. Anya's appointment was contained in a letter signed by the Minister in charge of Health, Kweku Ajiman-Menu. All right, so we want to bring you a short profile of who Dr. Felix Anya is.
Dr. Felix Anya was born on November 29, 1950. He had his education at the St. John's School, Secondary and Opoku-Ware School in Kumasi before entering the University of Ghana Medical School and graduated in 1979. After his housemanship at Kolebu Teaching Hospital and Efiam Kwantan Hospital, he worked at several private hospitals in Nigeria and Ghana before establishing the Holy Trinity Medical Center in July 1988. Starting with 5 members of staff, the Holy Trinity Medical Center won the Leader in the Private Medical Sector Award in Ghana in 2003 and Leader of the Health Sector Award in 2009. Holy Trinity Medical Center and Spa is a member of Club 100 companies recognized by the Ghana Investments Promotion Council. His spa, the first in West Africa, has won several awards, including Special Award for Promotion of a Healthy Society in Ghana by the Private Medical and Dental Association. The spa also won a National Honor Excellence in Private Sector Healthcare by Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. The Ghana Employees Association also awarded the spa with a contribution to primary healthcare in Ghana. Dr. Anya was a member of the 6th and 7th Councils of the Ghana Medical and Dental Council and was given Captain of Industry Award in 2003 by the Ministry of Private Sector Development under the President's Special Initiative.
Okay, so we go straight to the new office that Dr. Felix Anya will be heading, which is Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The Senior Staff Association, over the period, have had a back and forth with whichever a CEO is brought in. They have genuine concerns, and there are sometimes those that people raise as questionable. Dr. Charles Ofer-Palm is the president of the Kolebu Senior Staff Association. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all the cherished viewers.
Great. Have you started celebrating and waiting in anticipation for the new CEO?
Oh, thank you again. Oh, we're not celebrating yet. We are yet to meet him. When we see him, we celebrate, but we are welcoming him officially to the hospital. Yes.
So already you have the official letter announcing his impending arrival. Yes.
We heard it on air, and we did some cross-check, and we were told it's official. So it's a welcoming news. It's a good news for us.
Is he someone...
We're yearning for such an experienced person to take Kolebu forward, move Kolebu forward. Mm-hmm.
Is he someone you and the association know about?
Oh, yes. I think that looking at his credentials, we all know him behind one of the most successful private hospitals in Ghana, Holy Trinity. And I think, like I heard your TV caster mention, one of the nice spas we have in West Africa, not to mention Africa, is owned by him or is managed by him. And those are experiences that he can bring to bear, vast experiences, his knowledge, his age, that can bring to bear to move Kolebu forward. And that's what we want. And we welcome, we are ready to help him succeed. We are ready to welcome him, and we are ready to work with him to move Kolebu forward. I mean, make sure that the news from Kolebu should be a good thing, not the bad thing that we always hear. We hope he will change that forever. And I have a belief that he's going to do that.
How different are these expectations and these words from you? How different are they from the words that you gave when Dr. Gilbert Buckle was also announced as coming to take over the reins of Korle Bu?
First of all, if I have to do the comparison here, we will not finish the interview. But let me just chip in quickly. Based on, let's look at experience-wise, age-wise. Dr. Bakr was one of the, Dr. Bakr, aka Dr. Doolittle, was one of the many doctors we supported. He was very young, energetic. But what did we see at the end of the day? Everything that we set him to pass, mismanagement. Look at what happened before he says it. The payment of allowances that were not due in Tramula was against the principle. Everybody spoke about it. But nobody gave us credit. We mentioned that the first farm was being mismanaged. There was misappropriation. Nobody gave us the credit. All that Senior Staff Association is saying is that the system must work. Before President His Excellency appoints anybody to Korle Bu, he has already appointed every staff, whether we are a senior member or not, as the watchdog for property, as the watchdog for transparency, as the watchdog for accountability. So we don't get appointment for that. We are already appointed. So anybody who comes, we say, like, we watch you and see that you follow the process and procedures. Dr. Gilbert Buckle, aka Dr. Doolittle, did not follow that. And for that matter, the staff was, I said, no, we had a vote of no confidence in him. Along the line, the boy who never agreed with the Senior Staff Association, when they was exiting, finally sent a memo or issued a press statement, calling on the very staff he was victimizing to rise up against Dr. Gilbert Buckle. At the end of the day, the Senior Staff Association we were vindicated. All we are saying is that Dr. Nya is different. His background alone is different from what we had from the previous CEOs. Okay. And I know that will change Korle Bu forever.
What would Dr. Felix Anya have to do so not to step on the toes of the Korle Bu mafia?
First of all, you need to define what is mafia. If it's mafia means that speaking against corruption, if mafia means fighting against misappropriation, if mafia means fighting against mismanagement, then mafia is not stepping on any toes, which I have in that way. But if it means that mafia means that it's those people who don't want him to block leakages, then they will not only fight with Anya, they will fight someone first. Because all we want is that every financial leakage in the hospital should be blocked. And so if he comes and he brings a policy, a program that blocks every financial leakage in the hospital, we will be the number one to back him. And we shall even not spare our own colleagues who are involved in financial malfeasance. So we are saying that the ball or the rule must apply to all, from the CEO to every staff. Okay. And that is what we are saying.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome him. Yes.
Thank you so much for making time to speak with us.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much.
So you're welcome too. Always a pleasure speaking to Dr. Charles Ofer-Palm. He is the president of the Senior Staff Association of Korle Bu, saying with open arms, welcome Dr. Felix Anya and congratulations to Dr. Anya for that matter as well. This is still Midday Live on TV3. Let's go to the Ashanti region. Now, the prosecutor in the 13-member Delta Force case yesterday justified why the docket on the case has been delayed. ACP Ochre Dako spoke to my colleague William Evans Inkum. Watch this.
Yes, the AG called for the docket somewhere last month. And as of today, they are so not done with the case. So I met them today, and they indicated that they need some few weeks to get done with the advice.
Okay. Now, could there be anything more than what has been preferred against them? Because we know that they are standing trials on disturbances and then, of course, attack on public officers.
I have no idea as to what the AG is going to tell us.
Is it affecting the legal process?
I don't think so.
All right, so we actually want to, dive a little deeper into this particular story, which has been in the media for the past few weeks. And we're working the lines to speak to a former state attorney who is Augustine Obuo, to put a few questions to him regarding whether the state prosecutor has erred in any way. And with the fact that this particular issue has seen these days of delay, what is happening, what can be done about it. When we do get him on the line, we'll put these questions to him. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of the Interior, Henry Quartey, has reiterated the need to keep the Ghana-Togo border open for 24 hours as advocated by President Akufo-Addo. He said that it will boost Ghana's economic prospects and further promote West African integration.
President Akufo-Addo, on his recent tour of West Africa, made a suggestion to keep the Ghana-Togo border open for 24 hours. This, he said, will promote a free trade and boost trade and tourism in the region. The Deputy Minister of the Interior, Henry Quartey, noted inasmuch as the borders will be opened for 24 hours, measures will be put in place to prevent illegal entry.
Let us also be reminded of the fact that we cannot be too liberal in the management of our security. Ghana is not far away from terrorism, and so we must also put in place proper mechanisms to ensure that the security and safety of the citizenry are protected.
The Ghana Immigration Service has, however, expressed readiness to put modalities in place for the 24-hour opening. The head of public affairs at the Ghana Immigration Service, Superintendent Francis Pamdeti, said the service will strategize to ensure this is effective.
Once you intend using the official point of entry, it means that all the security checks that go with international travel will be in place. What we would then have to do is to strategize on how we would go about it. As we speak, we already run shifts, so I don't think there will be a difficulty in carrying that kind of directive.
He added the availability of logistics will enable officers to arrest smugglers who use unauthorized means to enter the country. Meanwhile, the Ghana Integrated Migration Management Approach, GIMA, has donated some logistics funded by the European Union to the service. The chief of mission from the International Organization for Migration, Sylvia Lopez Ekra, urged personnel of the Immigration Service to utilize the items donated towards an effective enforcement of their mandate.
All right, so we take a step back to our earlier story that has to do with the 13 Delta Force members whose case we are told is with the Attorney General, and we are told the Attorney General is studying the case. We've been joined on the line now by a former State Attorney, Augustine Obuo. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Our direct question to you would be, can a regional attorney representing the State Attorney take a decision on behalf of the Attorney General and if so, which matters can he take his sole decision on, and which matters would he have to revert to the headquarters?
Okay. Let me say good afternoon to your viewers and listeners as well. The representative of the Attorney General of every region can take any decision concerning any criminal or civil matter, unless the person or the particular lawyer on his own would like to refer the matter to the Attorney General personally. Otherwise, he is capable of disposing of every criminal or civil matter in the region without further reference to the Attorney General. So that's perfectly right.
But are there cases that some would describe as of national interest, that maybe whatever the decision will be, the Attorney General herself in this particular instance must be the one to take the decision?
In the criminal code, there's nothing like national interest case. Every case is either a civil case or a criminal case. And all persons shall be treated equally. So there's nothing like a national case or local case. No. If the Attorney General is interested in a particular matter, the Attorney General may ask the particular state attorney to brief him or her. That's all. Or the Attorney General herself in Accra would like to take a particular matter from a particular region to be prosecuted in Accra. It's been happening. We brought a Yana case from Tamale to be prosecuted in Accra. It happens. That's the absolute discretion of the Attorney General in Accra. But as to what a particular chief state attorney would do in a region perfectly lies within the jurisdiction of that state attorney in charge of the region.
So in the particular case in question where the 8 were released or were discharged based on the discretion of the state attorney, would you say that she erred in law? And what then would you make of the statement released by government saying that she did not do so with recourse to a higher authority?
You see, as a former prosecutor, I will tell you, one important thing is to prosecute the case without evidence. You always get embarrassed in court. You're always taking a journey. You don't have any witness. The defense lawyer will be disturbing you, will be saying all sort of things against you in court. As if you are not the lawyer like that particular defense lawyer. But the reason is that you don't have evidence, and yet you wouldn't like the case to discontinue. So,
okay. I think we have a little challenge with the line, but thank you. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us. Augustine Noboa is a former state attorney sharing his opinion or position on the back and forth about the eight Delta Force members who were discharged a few days ago. This is still Midday Live on TV3. Time now for business.
Is brought to you by
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the very latest in the world of business. My name is Parkwesi Asari. To our very first story, the Electricity Company of Ghana insists that assertions by the United States Embassy in Ghana that it has not received bills in the last 2 years are untrue. Well, according to workers of the ECG, the power distributor has been engaging the embassy to reconcile some unpaid bills due to challenges with faulty meters encountered in 2015.
The Energy Minister Boakye Ejiako's statement on inefficiencies with ECG operations has triggered back and forth commentary from some institutions. While the ECG says the US Embassy does not have arrears with electricity bills, the embassy insists it owes ECG. Officials of ECG, in explaining the debt position, say the US Embassy has 2 accounts for the operations in Ghana. The embassy averagely pays 700,000 cedis a month for power. According to the General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union, Michael Nyantechi, as far as he is concerned, the U.S. Embassy had, as of March 2017, settled all its arrears.
They receive bill regularly and they pay. And they have paid as far as March 2017. So the question of not receiving bills for 2 years doesn't come in there at all.
He further explained that in 2015, however, there were challenges with the bills for 160 US facilities across the country due to faulty prepaid meters.
I think what they did was to ring fence that problem and then continue to read the accounts or the bills for the various facilities. So they have been receiving bills constantly for this group account, which they have paid as at February 2017. And that one, the total is around 300,000 Ghana.
According to ECG workers, efforts were being made to settle outstanding bills.
The only thing that is still in contention is that problem which came with the CMS, which I'm sure they are still discussing.
When would they finalize that discussion? Because
when I cannot tell that whether they will sort it today or tomorrow or this night.
Very interesting developments regarding this story. Meanwhile, the United States Ambassador to Ghana, Robert Jackson, says the Electricity Company of Ghana has no right to demand for payment if it cannot provide evidence of services rendered. He, however, explained the embassy set aside some amount of money to pay bills over the past 2 years.
Energy Minister Boakye Ejiako had tweeted about the balance sheet of ECG during an interaction with journalists and officials of Millennium Development Authority. The minister said the debt stock of Ghana's power distributor is increasing by the day due to inefficiency. Mr. Ejiakon added, the inability of ECG to improve its balance sheet is because it has failed to collect debt owed it by entities such as the U.S. Embassy. The Public Utility Workers Union has lashed out at the U.S. Embassy for supporting the energy minister's claims. In its reaction, the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Robert Jackson, expressed disappointment at the level of inefficiency at the Electricity Company of Ghana. He explained the embassy has for the past 2 years been asking the company to provide them with bills for service provided.
I think that the whole controversy about whether the American embassy has been able to get a bill, an itemized bill, in 2 years exemplifies some of the real challenges that ECG is facing. So we have set aside money to pay our bill to ECG, but ECG has not been able to give us an itemized bill. If you were paying for your electricity, you want to know how much electricity you used. I want to know how much electricity I'm using, and until somebody can tell me that, I'm not going to pay.
He noted several consultations with the ECG to provide the embassy with prepaid meters to make billing easier had been held, adding that the embassy is ready to settle the debt once the ECG provides bills for services rendered within the period.
The ECG argues that many of our properties are actually on grids that service non-American occupied residences or businesses. We have to get that sorted out before we can actually implement any prepaid metering system.
All right, so you can trust TV3 Business. We're going to be following up on this particular story to bring you the very latest development as and when they arrive. Well, that's all for the very latest in the world of business. My name is Asiedu-Dartey. Up next is sports with Nana Afre.
Thank you very much, Asiedu-Dartey, for the business update. It's my turn to bring you all the updates from the world of sports. My name is Anako Jaffe. Let's get into the details now, where Kwesi Appiah returned to the former position as coach of the senior national team, the Black Stars. He has been tasked, among other things, to build a new and strong team for the country to get us back on top as Africa's powerhouse. One player who has not played since the 2014 World Cup is Juventus midfielder Kojo Asamoah. Asamoah has been out of the team due to niggling injuries, but now that he is in fine form, the coach and the FA have made him a priority. The FA Vice President George Friye, in an exclusive interview with TV3 Sports, says the association will keep trying till they get the midfielder back playing for the nation.
I'm sure a lot of people don't know my relationship with Kojo. Kojo is like my son. It's one of the few players in the local, in the Black Stars that I have a direct and personal contact. There's a bond between me and Kojo, and that sometimes when players take decisions, we go on our way to persuade them to resign the decision and to see how best they will. But at least we have a new coach now. I know Avram Grant tried. Avram went to see Kojo on several occasions, tried to convince him to come back. I mean, he's gone through some turbulent times. I mean, injuries here and there and all that. Thankfully now he's recovered fully and he's playing very well. Let's give the coach the chance to also. And within the coming days too, I'll also take a trip to Italy and I want to meet him. Fortunately, he'll be coming home and I'll take the opportunity to also see him and talk to him to see if he's ready to come back.
To the junior national team, the under-17 team, Ghana's Black Starlets are wowing crowds in Gabon and winning over fans at home after sealing their place at the under-17 World Cup in India with 2 fantastic displays. The quality of their football has also led to renewed hope among football fans that the future of the Black Stars would be in safe hands. But just how can the country ensure the under-17 promise translates into senior success? Dora Bedwe Champon has been finding out.
Ghana said they did not care about age group competitions again because of a ban for age cheating and disenchantment with the lack of progress from the age group to the senior level. Now that is changing due in large part to Pakwesi Febin's side currently, who are seeking Ghana's 3rd title at the African Under-17 Championship in Gabon. 2 wins over Cameroon and Gabon, 9 goals scored and none conceded has sealed a return for Ghana to the FIFA Under-17 World Cup for the first time in 10 years. The quality of football that they have played has been a throwback to the 90s when the Starlets were Ghana's biggest source of football pride. Names like Emmanuel Toku, Mohamed Idris and Eric Eya have replaced Ni Odati-Lamte, Alex Opoku and Awudu Isaka as names of hope for Ghana football. The hope of many is that rather than become like any of those names, they would develop a lot more into a Samuel Osei-Kuffour or Michael Essien, and GFA Communications Director Ibrahim Sani Dara says the body is determined to provide a good progressive plan.
Our policy is also that they will form the nucleus, the next under-20 team. But in so doing, it doesn't mean that because all of you are here, automatically all of you must be there. If you see the next under-15 team, I think that they are even better. We are thinking possibly that in future we can get to put these boys more in camp to be able to get them to go to school at the same time whilst they are playing football.
The pressure from agents and academies looking for financial breakthrough through the transfer of these players, family and the thoughts of a quick buck at the expense of the bigger picture have been cited as tangible blocks to progress. Kukuyanka owns Mandela Soccer Academy, who have 3 players in Gabon, and says all they seek is to find a reasonable balance.
At this point, there's a lot of pressure on the boys, a lot of pressure from their families. A lot of them are from very poor backgrounds. But I believe that this is the time the handlers, especially managers and people like us, this is the time that we have to manage expectations. This is the time that we have to make sure that, the career choices of these boys are well managed.
The rest of Ghana simply have to hope that in future, when they discuss issues of Black Stars, those names winning friends here will be the dominant ones.